Mark, are you having technical difficulties there?
No, I was just playing with the lower thirds.
Okay, so welcome back to another Nerdcast. My name is Dan Chelsea, and on today's edition of the Nerdcast, we have none other than the co-hostess with the mostest and advanced actor combatant, Chelsea Thompson.
Hi, guys.
Yay, Chelsea.
I'm back.
You've been. Oh, I'm so glad you're back. We've been missing Chelsea because she's been playing with a lot of swords the last little while.
Yeah, I was away the whole month of August in Toronto at the World Stage Combat Conference, fighting with all kinds of amazing people from all over the world and all kinds of swords, and it was a pretty great month.
That is awesome. I am so glad you're back. And on today's edition of the Nerdcast, we have Tara and Mark from Tech Geek Gamers.
Yay!
Oh. Hello.
Awesome. Yes, I'm so looking forward to today's episode. I think it's going to be awesome. And to just find out a little bit more about you guys. But first, as always, we'd like to start off, every episode by asking everybody how their week was. So, Mark, I'm going to ask you, how was your week?
My week was kind of awesome. Destiny. We were going hard on Destiny PlayStation. It was really great.
The new expansion's not out yet.
It comes out Tuesday, where they slow release some of the features, and one of those features is custom PvP. So you can just play with your friends and ignore all the others. And so we've decided to start streaming those. I streamed probably 2 hours almost every night of just the guys shooting each other.
Yeah. The one thing I love Destiny, and I played just a ton of it, but I'm not the PvP guy. I just do not care about that. And they started adding a lot more of that kind of stuff into the game. And as they added more, I started to drop off.
I would like Destiny because of that. I was just hooked on PvP from the Halo days. I was like, oh, I can play PvP. And then they were like, well, you can level up playing PvP. I was like, sweet. So I did that, and then we got to the point where everyone's like, well, we're doing these 6-man raids. Are you ready? I'm like, what's a raid? I can't. What? No. but you're max level, and all your gear is awesome. It's like, yeah, but I have to finish all these stories before I'm allowed to do the raid. So, yeah.
I love the story. I mean, I have to say that there was at the beginning there was like non-existent story there.
I heard that.
But for the most part, I've been really enjoying just the PvE part of that game. Just going around with my friends and shooting things. It was a great time. But like I said, I'm not a big PvP kind of guy. So, oh well. Anyways, Tara, how was your week?
Well, I still actually am one of the only techie gamers that plays World of Warcraft still, and the expansion hit last week, I think. Thank you. There you go, my dear. So yeah, I had max leveled. I'm just gearing up for raids now. So
just get that level up, and then away you go.
Well, I'm already there. I'm just getting ready for the big raids.
So my own nerdy curiosity. So what's the build on the favorite character that you have that you like to play? That's your go-to.
Right now, my main is an elemental shaman, although they took away a lot of my fun stuff and nerfed me hardcore. But
that's the worst about that. That's the worst about that game, because I mean, you have so much effort and stuff you put into a character, and then they mess around with it like all the time.
Oh yeah, the forums were hilarious. It was just like the butthurt was real. You had people doing the typical "I will never come back to this game," and then of course they're back now. But
they always come back.
Oh, it's fun to watch. But yeah, that's my life right now.
That's awesome. And Chelsea, how was your week?
My week's been pretty good. School started a couple weeks ago, so I've been back in the classroom at school. I'm staffed to assist in a great classroom this year. My classroom teacher is awesome, so things are going really well. And Yeah,
Yeah.
after the busy summer, yeah, it was really good. I felt like I got to do a lot of stuff this summer, but it didn't really feel like I got much of a break. So going back, it's kind of been like one right into the next, but it's been good. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
How about you, Dan? How's your week?
My week has been pretty good. I just came from a podcast meetup that was here in Edmonton. I went to Karen Unland's Seen and Heard in Edmonton podcast meetup, and we got to like just answer a lot of questions about starting a podcast and that kind of stuff. So the way they had it set up this week was they had people who were interested in starting their own podcast and people who've been doing it for a little while. And I got to be on the side where we've been doing it for a little while. So I got to answer questions, and I'm like, oh, I did not expect that.
It's true. We have been doing it for a while now, hey?
Yeah, we have been doing it for a little bit. And so, yeah, it's been fun. I've been enjoying this. So I was the time where I can actually answer a few questions in a public space, which was interesting. The other thing that we got to do on the last little bit was I got to do a nerd networking event down at Tabletop Cafe, the Volume 2, the one downtown there. We got to meet a bunch of people who have their events that they're putting on in the Edmonton area, and I got to go to that one and meet a lot of the people who are starting events in the area. That was pretty awesome. And we just had our anniversary not too long ago, Trina and myself, and so on the weekend here, and even part of today, we actually went to we celebrated it by going to La Ronde, which was pretty awesome. It was a really nice restaurant. That's the revolving one.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And we got to we just stayed at the Chateau Lacombe and
Lovely.
just had a nice little break from the kids, and it was amazing. So yeah, that was my week.
It's a pretty good week.
Yeah. So like I said, we are talking with Tara and Mark from Tech Geek Gamers. And we, like before, we used to do a whole bunch of news items. We've decided to cut that out. And so we are going to go straight into the meat of this and just talk a little bit about what you guys do, who you guys are, and all that kind of fun stuff. And so I'll start with Mark or Tara. It doesn't matter. What do you guys do? What are you? Who are you? Why are you on my show?
Mark, want to feel this one?
Tech Geek Gamers is a local video channel, YouTube channel, I guess. We've expanded into more than just a show. We've kind of branched out this year into several shows, we call them anyway, so it's grown into a channel. But we started about 6 years ago, 3 guys in a basement, really crummy camera, and we've been doing it for 6 years ever since. And we've kind of grown, and now it's weekly. We post a new episode, techgeekgamers.com or YouTube/techgeekgamers. Basically, we're doing a lot of board game playthroughs, a lot of video game playthroughs, some roundtable discussions on hot topic events like the Game of Thrones season finale and stuff like that. And so basically just whatever our creative minds want to do at the time. We just film one night a week, and then next week it's ready to post.
Awesome. So going back to sort of how you started, because you were saying something about you and your 2 other buddies or whatever they were. How did you even bother starting this thing?
So this is Tara will appreciate this, but it started with World of Warcraft. And basically, we were raiding one night, and I got a credit to the Totally Rad show. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Basically, we used to be big fans of Totally Rad show, and that was just 3 guys sitting around talking about nerdy things. And we're sitting there raiding, we wipe, and then we wipe, and then we wipe. I'm like, this is such a waste of our lives. And we're raiding so much every night, and that we hit that break where it's just like, let's do something creative. And we just looked at the Totally Rad show, like, we could do that. You guys want to just get out a camera and film ourselves talking about stuff? And then next week it was like, let's do it. We're going to try this out and see what we can do with it. Well, we've learned a lot about getting your videos being hot, get search engine optimization. Basically, it was myself, Chris Ippolito, and Corey Martin. We sat down. Corey kind of took on this editing of video role. I don't know how much experience he had with it, almost none. Him and his brother had done the 24-hour video challenge a few times, so I think he had some experience there. Shout out to Nathan Martin, who's spearheaded that for a lot. And then I kind of took over building us a website, so we'd have a platform to share whatever we create with. And then Chris has kind of took a commanding role into, I don't know, being the social media presence. But we learned along the way that 3 wasn't enough. One guy would be sick, he couldn't make it to filming. We got a little feedback that said, you know how boring it is when there's just 2 of you there, where one guy's like, hey, I think this, and the other guy's like, yeah. And so we said, let's get a rotation here. Let's branch out to a few friends who might be interested. We brought in Rob Shelley. He's one of our regular hosts now. He's a fantastic addition. And then Chris used to work with Tara. So I don't know, Tara, if you want to talk about how you got suckered into becoming one of our perma and now staff members. We call them staff. Nobody gets paid, but Tara's on staff. So
I demand to see my union rep.
The benefits aren't worth it.
No, actually, I used to work, as I mentioned, I worked with Chris. And one day we're in the lunchroom and he was talking to one of the other guys about, I forget what game it was. And then I piped up because apparently I had words. And he's like, you play video games? Yeah. Which ones? And when I was done listing God knows how many, he goes, I have a show. Do you want to come on? I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up. So I think I've been there for 4 years now. My first episode was blind Mortal Kombat, which was just spamming like crazy. It was fun. And after that, and that's how I play normally. So it was great. It's fine.
It totally makes sense.
If it was my sister, they would have been totally owned. But I'm more of an RPGer. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, since then I've been on. I wrote articles for the website. We go to meetups like the Expo, which is tons of fun. Gives me a great opportunity to geek out with some of my favorite comic book people. Mm-hmm. And I get to hang out with these guys every Monday and just be crazy. It's great.
That's awesome. It sounds like a lot of fun.
It sounds very familiar. Hey, Dan.
There you go.
It does sound a little familiar.
It's always a good time. So in 6 years of chatting about all things nerdy with like-minded nerdy people, I mean, the trove now of topics you had to have covered and things you had to have talked about are probably miles and miles long. But in the 6 years you've been doing it, are there any that stick out as like, oh man, that episode was like, yeah, I loved doing that episode or that conversation, or oh my god, that one line was just like gold? Anything that springs to mind?
Well, most recently would be our interesting fun in the comments section. I think Mark would appreciate this one for Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's the first time I was warned to not read the comments, and that was like a golden achievement. Like, we made it. People are trolling us. This is great. People hate me. And I don't know. I went and read the comments, and I had a sad day, but it was cool. That level. No, there's so many. I mean, 6 years is a long time. We used to do at the end of every year, we'd call them seasons. We used to do our favorite moments kind of thing. I think we did 2 or 3 of those, and we got some really good ones. One of the best ones that still jumps out in my head is we did Exploding Kittens, and it actually turned out to kind of explode, which is cool. But there's a card, it's Nope. I don't know if you've played Exploding Kittens or whatever, but it's basically if somebody plays a card, you can react and say, nope, that doesn't count. But they all have some sort of thing on them, and it was 2 guys skipping rope or something like that, and it's like
the nope rope.
Rope, more like jump nope, and it just and it's been one of my favorite lines of shows for sure.
There's a lot of really bad laugh attacks that happen while filming. It's a blast. But now that I remember that, I had problems filming that with a straight face.
It was good. The female, the vibrators card, that one was like unicorns or something. Yeah, I need to rewatch that one. It's good.
Needless to say, we were playing with the not safe for work deck and the standard deck, so yes. It got entertaining.
Yes.
We all like to adult every now and then, so.
Well, it used to be, I mean, like in year 2 and 3, maybe we would just say, we don't really care what you think. We're doing what we want to do because like it's not like we're getting paid or anything. And then there was a shift to kind of say, hey, you know what? People are starting to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is actually cool. We're getting some clout. And then just in this last year, it's been a real shift in focus to engaging with the community. So we're doing the best we can to do that, you know, really branch out, get extra guests on the show and that kind of thing. And oh my God, I'm so excited for tomorrow. But we'll talk about that later.
So talk a little bit, you said you do shows now. What are some of those shows that you do?
Sure. We kind of said, well, this is our bread and butter. You know, we get a lot of hits on YouTube if we do board game playthroughs. And we said, you know, like, let's make that one of our shows. We'll say our board game shows is one thing. And if we sit down and we play a PlayStation game, we'll do some couch co-op. That'd be another one of our shows. And then we'll do like a third option where it's roundtable discussion. So it's kind of like you create a channel and you can say, oh, my favorite show is on this week or something to that effect. It was kind of the goal we were trying to get to. We got sucked into Pandemic Legacy, unfortunately. And we said, well, you know, there's a whole year. We have a whole year. Why don't we just do one every month? And then we started failing. And if you fail the first of the month, you have to go and play again later. So we ended up we only produced 4 episodes-ish a month. And we ended up turning 2 of them into Pandemic Legacy. And we've recently just said, well, okay, we got to slow that down. It's chunking away a lot of content, especially for people that don't want the spoilers. They're not even watching, right?
Yeah, because we're playing month to month as the game progresses. So
yeah, so we call that show House Rules because we've decided the rules don't matter. We often break the rules, and it's become a fun inside joke that if you can catch us breaking the rules. Actually, we've instigated the new drinking rule that if you can comment below on where we screwed up the rules, Chris will drink or something.
It's supposed to be everybody, but Chris has gotten the last 2, so I don't mind.
So yeah, what kind of things do you guys cover then? You guys do board game playthroughs? Do you guys do video game playthroughs? What kind of stuff do you guys cover?
New video games. We do play some retro ones, but for the most part, we try to cover the new ones when people are deciding whether or not they want to buy it. We don't do a full playthrough because we don't want to spoil them, but we'll have basically our take on the games. And as Mark says, most people seem to really enjoy when we go through board games. So we try to line up a bunch of new or hot board games to play, hence our friendship with BoardGameBliss.com, and they actually help provide us with some of the newer games and some of the big titles, and we will then go and play those and possibly bomb each other out of the water while doing so, but have tons of fun. We do
Nothing
some...
wrong with a little friendly competition.
Or friendly fire.
Yeah, we draw inspiration from a lot of other internet sources. I think our roundtable discussions have kind of come out of the Greg Miller kind of funny atmosphere. Those guys sitting around the table, we kind of want to emulate that and just have a conversation about whatever we want to do. We started doing that. I think we lost Tara, but maybe she'll come back. And then the couch co-op is kind of a thing we decided early on. Our slogan for a long time was, you know, couch friends are your best friends. So we have these memories of just like passing the controller, playing single player games. Like, oh, you didn't pass that level, pass the controller. And so it kind of became our couch friends are your best friends. You know, those people that will sit there, watch you play video games and wait their turn. And so we kind of developed, you know, one of our shows into that angle too.
And we got into some of the review stuff too, but for the most part, we just want to play it so people can take away from that what they will. While at the same time, we can give them our own candid responses to how we responded to the game or how we like it, what we rank it if we're going to play for playability.
And I mean, that being said, we're happy to take requests too. If there's something you want to see us play, we'll totally try and get on the show.
Now, when you guys do that segment, is it, I mean, for sake of ease of sharing in YouTube format, is it purely console games, or Tara, do you get in some like PC gaming stuff?
Oh, we get PC gaming in there too. Yeah, awesome. For the most part, it's console just because we can do the couch co-op game, but we do play some PC games. We've been focusing more on the couch co-ops though, yeah.
Cool. Our studio doesn't have a high-grade PC, so whenever we want to do PC show,
our editor runs on an Apple.
Did I put the quotes up? Our studio doesn't have that. It's Corey's basement.
Yeah, when we like for the longest time, we've only had Apple in our house. We run most of our video editing software through the Mac Pro, which we have it's an older tower now. It's getting there, but it's for the long time I didn't have a decent computer. I just finished building a brand new.
Yeah, you get a fancy one now.
I got a fancy computer now. So now I can do video gaming on the PC. But yeah, for the long time I couldn't do anything on.
We've dabbled in some PC streaming too. I was running Minecraft Mondays in season 5. That was a good time.
Diablo on hard mode.
The pigmen are coming.
What's a geist? Oh. We played Diablo for a while there, and then I think Mark. How many times did you die, Mark? 3 times, 4?
On the first go? Yeah. It was at least that. Yeah.
It was fun. But
That's awesome.
Oh, it was.
So let me ask you, what are some of your favorite things that you guys like to do as a channel or as a group?
Yeah, of the shows that you run, do you have a favorite? Do you like the board game shows over the video game playthroughs, over the roundtable discussions? What gets your juices flowing of all of the nerdy things that you cover?
Tara?
Actually, it's kind of hard. Like I'm a hardcore PC gamer, but I really enjoy playing the tabletops because a lot of my friends outside of Tech Geek Gamers are not big tabletop people, or if they are, it's like Settlers of Catan, and I can already tell Corey is rolling his eyes. But they're not into like the hardcore kind of dungeon type ones, so I really enjoy those.
Yeah, I'm a huge board game buff. It's totally like if I hear we're filming House Rules this week, I do whatever it takes to be there, kind of thing.
So let me ask you, with all the board games that you've been playing the last while, what are some of your favorites?
What's the one we did last week?
Colt Express.
Colt Express. Yeah, I didn't win this time, but it was freaking awesome. It's really fun to play, and you're getting kind of goofy at one point. But that one's really fun, and again, it's easy to get into. So even if you have friends that aren't hardcore into board games, they can get into that one.
Yep.
Pandemic Legacy, obviously, without saying anything. Oh God, what was it called?
You guys played any Dead of Winter?
Not yet, no.
It's on the shelf waiting to be played.
We
We have a
pile.
backlog of games.
That is the predicament you get into with board games. They
You
get
know,
piled up.
It's a curse I'm not opposed to. Like,
Yeah, there are far worse things though. That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, it mirrors my Steam library of unplayed games yet that I have to review.
I mean, we have this, rather than picking my favorite, because they're all wonderful games, we have this running joke about elimination games, player elimination games, and how I absolutely hate them. Like, it's just the worst thing ever. And every time one of those hits the table, I feel like it's just a big gang up to get me eliminated, to just keep hammering on the joke.
Oh, Muffin.
But, you know, just when we get to Dead of Winter, there is a secret objective to be the first one killed. So I'm hoping that will come to fruition.
That's his excuse for losing, is what he's saying. To be fair, Mark actually wins a lot of these games, so, you know. It does get fun when Chris and Corey get involved, or Rob, and there's a vendetta going. Friendly vendetta, but still.
And so now I imagine when you guys are taking them out and doing the playthroughs, just by the necessity of how many people join you, they're the larger, more multiplayer games. Are there any sort of smaller 2-player board games that sort of strike your fancy these days, that you play on your own with you and one other person when you're not playing with the group?
Mark, you want to field this one?
You know, it's no. I mean, I wish I could play them every night. It's just not in the cards. I mean, at this time in my normal life, free time is usually spent after everyone's asleep, and that's why I play Destiny. That's why I play League of Legends. There's always friends waiting for you.
I'm in the same boat, actually. I've got 1 minion and another one on the way, so free time does not really exist until late at night.
the sort of the thing that gets me for the most part as well. A lot of my creative time or time I get to do stuff is past the 8 o'clock mark. 8 o'clock is when I get to put the kids to bed, and that's the time where I usually will have the podcast. Typically, if you ever watch the show, it's at 8 o'clock, and that's pretty much the time where we have our RPG game, and that's at 8 o'clock. Everything seems to happen around that magic 8 o'clock hour.
The kidless hour.
The kidless hour. It's amazing. It's such a wonderful time.
Everyone's favorite time of day. I love my children.
Especially when they're asleep.
I love my kids when they're asleep. They're the best thing in the world.
I think everyone would agree on that without feeling any bit of guilt.
No, yeah, that's true. They're the most wonderful thing I've ever done in my entire life, by far. But I do love that 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is amazing time. So yes, when you find yourself, absolutely swamped with stuff, what do you normally, other than you're playing Destiny, what other things do you do to like just kind of unwind then?
You mean besides video games?
Yeah, besides video games.
Additional video games to Destiny.
Sure. Either way.
No, I'm a super amateur part-time board game designer. And so that's one of the things I like to do is just pull out whatever game I'm working on and do a little work on it. But that one takes the low precedence, like almost behind sleep,
Well, you've got one that's getting close to being done.
Yeah, no, I brought it to a playtesting group, and it's pretty popular. I need to revisit again, and I just started doing another one this week. I'm excited to start putting the paper too. So,
Overachiever.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what's your game about?
The previous one, or the one that's really close, is it's a gladiator type arena type game. But I mean, I said the premise is saying it's in the future, so it's not humans, it's robots in the arena. And it's basically a couple rounds of fighting, and you spend the first bit of the game building your robot, and so you kind of take this ownership of it, and then you compete against each other, and you get points for kills and points for being last man standing, and then you play a few consecutive rounds. And the other one I'm working on is a starship smuggling game, where the planets are actually rotating, and you kind of have to plot your path and keep momentum going, so that you say in 3 turns this planet will be there, I need to be there in 3 turns kind of thing, and you plot that out, and that's where you pick up the resources and sell them for different things. That one's really in the conceptual phase. So those are my 2 games. And I had this other one that I was building for 3 years about pulling off the big heist. It was inspired by Ocean's 11, and I playtested that one maybe 4 times, and now it sits on the shelf. That's a tear that rolls down with that.
So let me ask you, why do you guys keep doing what you're doing? Like, what keeps you coming back to the table?
It's fun. It makes us happy. I mean, blow off your steam after a long day of work, play video games or a board game. You get to hang out with your friends. It's really nice to know that there's a big community out there just like us. That's our idea of fun.
I think it's I always quote Will Wheaton on this one, but it's not. It might not be him anyway. It was just like, do what you enjoy doing, and the money will come. And I kind of feel like there is this like dream that, we always say if anyone quit their job first, if Tech Geek Gamer starts making money, we go the Patreon route or something. Like Corey's the first one who gets to quit his job, and then we'll take turns, as more money comes in. But the editor gets the biggest piece of the pie, that's for sure. Oh God, yeah. He does the most work by far. We couldn't do it without Corey. He's amazing.
No, he's amazing. He's our glue.
That's awesome.
That is also his basement.
So we keep doing it to turn it into a career. That's really the answer.
As long as you have some sort of a goal, I guess. But at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy doing it, then what's the point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Chelsea, anything else?
In expanding over the 6 years and sort of shifting your focus, you'd said sort of in this last year, the focus has really sort of shifted to lots of community engagement and having someone who's specifically sort of working on social media engagement and stuff like that, taking suggestions. What are things that you're getting back from the community? What's sort of the biggest stuff that people are asking you to see that you find the people out there like us want?
Well, a lot of the shift was to board games because a lot of our followers were actually saying, you guys should play this or you should try this out. And it is nice because, again, we can play it and then ask for comments and we get responses and people will tell us like how they're playing it or if we've screwed up, of course, as Marcus touched on. And it's just fun to get the conversation going on, their experience with the game as opposed to our own. And it is fun to meet people too because, they have to get a face-to-face conversation going.
Yeah.
And I have this ambition to get more writers on staff to do more blog posts and those kind of things and get some more streamers under our brand if we can and just kind of grow in that regard. It's a really tough sell. Like, hey, do you want to come stream on our channel? It doesn't pay anything because everyone wants the fame and the glory themselves, right? So it's a really tough sell so far. But if anybody's watching this and they're seriously interested in joining our brand, I'd love to have a conversation with them.
Awesome.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you're speaking of shows and cool stuff that you're really excited about or shows in the past that have made you really excited. You mentioned that you're really excited about something that's happening tomorrow. Would you be willing to share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow night we're going to be filming Captain Sonar. And I don't know if you've heard about this board game or not, but basically I got this text a couple weeks ago from my cousin. He said, hey, do you have 4 guys that you could bring to play against my 4 guys on Play Captain Sonar? And so I don't know what that is, but I like the premise already. So Captain Sonar is a 4 versus 4 submarine battle board game that is done in real time. So you have the 2 teams sitting on opposite sides of the table, and the captain is shouting, go north, go west, go east, and there's a guy on the other side of the table listening and trying to plot out where that submarine is based on those commands. And then you kind of just got to coordinate with 4 people, the engineers trying to fix stuff, the comms trying to get things ready to blow up. But essentially, he's going to bring his regular play group over to our studio tomorrow night, and we're going to do 4 Tech Geek Gamers against his board gaming group. And I'm just really excited.
Sounds a bit like
so much
Lo-Fi
fun.
Artemis.
I haven't tried that one either.
Or a really fancy version of Battleship.
Yeah.
That's more like it. Super complicated Battleship.
Artemis is a real-time but high-tech, basically. Everybody brings their own laptop and they're all networked together bridge simulation game. And you can play as a number of different ships, the Galactica, the Enterprise, and so you have all of the different positions, the captain, engineering, comms, navigation. Yeah. And so everybody is responsible for reading all of the information that comes up on their particular laptop for their particular station, and the captain gives orders. And the captain, Dan has a great setup because he has a projector. So he sets up a main projection screen where you can see you're like flying through space and coming to this planet, or like, you can come across alien ships and you can hail them and choose to insult them or try and communicate with them, or like whether you want to incite a battle in space. So
it's like VR D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Essentially, what it's like LARPing. I would probably put it closest to that. In the sense that everyone is playing their certain role on the spaceship bridge. It is a ton of fun.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, you can, if you're the engineer, you can put more power to weapons, or you can put more power to the shields, or you could put, divert power here and there. And
if you're helm and navigation, you actually have to do a lot of the calculations to make sure that you don't actually like warp yourself into the core of a planet.
Minor detail.
It's a lot of fun. So there, you can you could either choose a warp engine for your ship or a jump drive. So you can either jump to locations, and you have to be fairly close to your coordinates. It's pretty fun, interesting concept.
They've gone plaid.
Yeah, it's a great game. Anyways, listen. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the stuff that you may have planned that's coming up in the next little bit, other than Captain Sonar?
Well, that's happening Monday. This weekend, actually, Tech Geek Gamers is going to be covering the Edmonton Expo. Ooh. So we're going to be going around and, I have to watch my wallet this time. But it's dangerous there. It's so much fun, though. We get to speak to people about, especially the cosplayers.
Yeah.
We have a lot of local people here, actually, that build all their own stuff, and they're more than happy to tell us about everything. We have a few regulars that we've actually run into both Edmonton and Calgary. We also have professional cosplayer Nika Stones there, and she's mentioned she's running her own booth. The guys in Filthy Casual, I think, are going to be there again this year,
Yes.
as always.
So we're excited
And what
about
else
the expo
there? Oh, yeah.
that's on this coming weekend, and Extra Life. Our team shrunk a little bit this year, but we're still participating. This will be our third year in Extra Life. The last couple of years, we've raised close to 10 grand American, so that's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
And that's November 5th. Hopefully, we'll be streaming in some form or fashion. And if you're interested, you can search for Tech Geek Gamers on Extra Life if you want to either join the team or support the team or any of those kind of elements. Coming up, Expo. It might be the big things that come to mind anyway. I'm sure there's more as we get more involved in the community. We'll probably be streaming a whole lot more Destiny with the expansion drops on Tuesday.
I just said that this Friday, didn't we? So.
Yeah.
Awesome. So where can people find you guys, like on the web, wherever?
It's techgeekgamers.com. And there you can find all of our videos, some little bios about the staff that are really out of date, and some amazing blog posts that Tara's written for us too as well, some articles. And then you can find us primarily on youtube.com/techgeekgamers. And if you click that subscribe button, you're doing us a real big favor. It's kind of our only metric. We celebrate YouTube subscriptions. That's what we do. So we're 4,080-ish, I think, right now. So it's continued to grow, and it's been amazing.
Awesome.
Mm.
That's that's fantastic. So that's pretty much all the questions I have. Chelsea, do you have anything else that you'd like to ask before we're done with this section?
No, I think I'm good. Although it's always a pleasure to talk to, fellow nerds in the community, ever expanding our pod of people in Edmonton who are like minding the nerdy love. So thanks so much, you guys, for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
And I mean,
All
if
right.
you guys are interested in being on our show, we'd love to have you.
Ooh.
We'll talk a little bit about that later, but before we end the show, I'd like to continue things on by talking about some of the upcoming events that are happening in the city of Edmonton, and some of the stuff that Northern Nerd is going to be doing in the next little bit as well. And like you said before, Edmonton Expo is coming up. We are super pumped for that because on Saturday at 5 o'clock in room 108, you will find the Nerdcast live.
Hey.
It's going to be
Nice.
exciting. We are super pumped for this. We are going to be talking about podcasting for the nerds in Edmonton. And we even have a guest with us, Ben Yendall from the Heidi and Way podcast. He will be joining us for that. Yay, Ben. He's so awesome. I love he's such a great guy. He's so much fun, easy to talk to. So yeah, we're gonna have him along with us. And
We just
that'll
saw
be
him
fun.
on Friday night. He dropped in for our Star Wars D&D. He's always such a pleasure.
Nice.
Yes. So yeah, that was awesome. And so we'll be doing that. Aside from that, I'll be roaming the halls with my awesome camera, and I'll be also interviewing lots of people, as we typically like to do, and finding out about, like cosplayers and other various things that are going on in the city. We like to talk to the people. So we'll be doing that. And on Sunday, I will be moderating another panel at 10:45, named Local Pros. And I'll just read the little blip that they have on the website. It says, Edmonton may not scream out headlining source of professionals in the comic industry, but you may be surprised. We gather our local pros for a discussion on making it in the biz on their own hometown. And that will be including Nat Jones, Vic Malhotra, Kyle Charles, Travis Sengas, and Kelly Tyndall. And Kelly Tyndall, we've had on the show before, and Vic Malhotra, we've talked to him multiple times on this channel. And Nat Jones, I've talked to a couple times here and there. Kyle Charles, I know who he is. And I'm not sure who Travis is quite yet, but I am super excited to meet him. It is going to be a lot of fun. I'm super, super excited for that. So I'll be doing that as well. And so that is just the Edmonton Expo, which, like I said, we're super pumped about coming up in the next little bit. And past that, we're going to go straight into October, because October, man, there's a lot going on in October. Intrigue Con, which I am so excited for. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. This is a tabletop RPG convention here in Edmonton. It's going to be at the Parkdale Cromdale Community Hall. And tickets are on sale right now to go to, to do that. And if you go to hazardgaming.com for more information, you will find out all the information about, tabletop RPGs and what you guys can do to, sign up for a game there. It's going to be fun. Aside from that, October 16th is the Pop Culture Fair at the Alberta Aviation Museum. And
like what a great venue for that this year. That's exciting.
The Pop Culture Fair, I think, is typically over at the Alberta Aviation Museum.
I thought, maybe I'm thinking of something else. I thought it was at a different place last year.
No, I think you might be thinking of something else. Aside from that, we got Dead Fest that's coming up as well. Game a Lot, Rocky Horror Steampunk Ball.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, but it's a steampunk ball.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be amazing, or it sounds amazing anyways. That is going to be so much fun. And Extra Life, like you guys said earlier, that is coming up in November. We are going to have our own live stream here on the Nerdcast. It's going to be so much fun. We are going to be doing it down here in the basement, where we will have a fancy setup, and we will be gaming for the full 24 hours, and you guys can watch it live. It's going to be awesome. And that's about it. Like I said, next week's show, Edmonton Expo Live. So yeah, look forward to that.
So where can people find us on the web, Dan?
Oh, you guys can find us all over the place. It's fantastic. You guys can find us on northernnerdnetwork.com. That's our fancy website. You guys can find us on youtube.com/northernnerdnetwork. You guys can find us on Facebook. Just look up Northern Nerd. And you will find us on Twitter at northern_nerd. I want to thank our lovely guests for coming on the show. Thank you, Mark
and Tara. Thank you, guys.
You guys are amazing. And thank you guys for all you guys do, because it's pretty awesome stuff. Go check out their channel.
Subscribe. Watch their videos.
It is well worth going to see. So it's pretty good. I did get the chance to watch their little playthrough of that last board game that I can't remember what it's called now, that you guys were playing there. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, go take a look and go subscribe. And that's awesome. So that's it. That's all. I want to thank everybody out there for watching or listening to this edition of the Nerdcast. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
I was so happy when you found this theme music.